G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in over on the east side of the map, playing as the Abbasid dynasty, we have got Puppy Paw. On the opposite side of the map, playing as the English, we have got Vortex. That is correct. The very first English appearance in this series is going to be by Vortex. And can I just comment, what a weird map we've got on Altai. I don't think I've ever seen Altai spawn as a desert. This must be a little bit of a cancel, a little bit of a switcheroo. So, obviously there's been a lot of changes to Altai recently, but obviously one of them has been to the biome, because we've got ourselves a very curious biome here. I think this must be the first time I've ever seen a desert Altai. But anyway, we'll get into it. We see a single scout opening here from our puppy player. Hold on a minute, Drongo. That's careful, Drongo. You're going into a region of the world that should remain unexplored for the moment. Don't go Googling that. We are witnessing a single scout opening from our Abbasid player. Over on the other side of the map, it's a double scout opening from Vortex, so just looking to deny away sheep from his opponent. You can see he's done a pretty decent job already here. Great amount of sheep behind that first scout. 6 sheep. That always feels good. And we can see that our English player still yet to add in those farms, but does obviously have a wheelbarrow on the way. So the question is, what kind of strategy are we going to be seeing out of these guys today? Now, for Puppy Paw, I would be expecting that we would be seeing probably a second town center. Highly likely that he pulls out a second town center. Unlikely that he goes for a third one. Typically a bit of a safe player. By the same token, over for Vortex, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some sort of fast castle play. Fast castle's definitely been the flavor of the flavor of the week, flavor of the month for English players. Going up to, I think there was a sheep there, mate. Did you? No. What is that? Is it a weed? What is that? Look at that. That's weird. So yeah, I definitely think that fast castle could be on the cards here as one of the options here for Vortex. He's got a great little spot up against the edge here. I tell you what, I actually like this biome for Altai. It looks really cool. I do like this. I like the desert biome. It's cool. The only problem is when I do my thumbnails, I always bump up the saturation and the contrast, and so like it turns this red into like freaking like a bright pink. Not bright pink, but you guys know what I mean, right? Like it looks like California in fire season. It's not pretty. But now, a single scout going to be working out. I'm sorry to all my California guys out there. I know, I love you guys. I love you guys. That was a bad joke. I shouldn't have. That was a bad joke. I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Californians. Economic wing now coming down for Puppy Paw. We can see that some damage going to be done down over on this this villager. And this is what you got to be careful of, because you've only opened 1 scout and your enemy has opened 2, which means that with this second scout, there's always going to be the possibility that you're outnumbered, you're outgunned, you're outharmed. That's something that you don't want to be. But we can see that the villager's going to have to fall back from this position. He's actually losing a fair bit of health there on that villager. One of the things that having your scout in here does as well is it really fucks with the pathing. And you got to be very careful with that, because the villagers will decide to walk like this villager here. If the scout is between it and the mining camp, it will walk all the way around the gold mine, and then it will try and deliver over on this side. I don't know why. It's just how the game paths. Pathing in Age of Empires 4 is actually pretty good. I'll be honest with you guys. I've been liking the pathing a lot. Going back and playing Age of Empires 3 for a bit, I'm sure you guys would have seen that it was some Age of Empires 3 videos on the channel quite recently. Pathing in that game, whew, yikes. Let's just put it that way. Yikes. Scout already has his dagger out. Actually, that's not a dagger. That looks a bit bigger than a dagger. I'm going to be real. Like, the villagers carry daggers. This guy carries a fire lance. You better watch out. What is a fire lance? I was about to alt-tab and search what a fire lance is. But now Scout going to be finally coming in, stopping this harassment once and for all. He's going to have to fall back. The sheep managed to stay there as well. He's picked up a fair amount of sheep here. Not too bad for a 1 scout opening. We'll check in over with Vortex and see how he's doing. It's going to be a council hall, just 2 villagers tapping away at it. We actually see an early stone coming out, so this could be one of 2 things. This could be a second town center, or this could be an arrow slit play. Both are definitely in the realm of possibilities for Vortex. He is the kind of player who will be more than happy to do a tower rush. The one thing that tells me that it's probably not, though, is the fact that there's only 2 villagers doing this council hall. He's not rushing it up by any means. He's very slow. He's very cool. He's very calm, collected at this point in time. So he's not in any kind of rush to get up to the next stage and get units out. So that makes me think it is going to be a town center. And we see a third villager getting added out there. So more than enough villagers now to justify that stone. By the same token, we see Puppy Paw going to be down on that south side. So does that mean we actually see a 3 town center play come out from Vortex here? He could go for something that we have seen, 2 town centers, and then look to put down the White Tower in the middle, or the White Palace, the White Tower, the White Castle. White Castle, that's a restaurant. The White Palace. No, the White Tower. It is the White Tower in the middle here. He's got a couple of interesting spots that he could go for, but I feel like it's probably best to go for like right there. I guess you could also go here. It's a bit hard to defend though. That's the problem, right? Like, when you're thinking about defending, like it's something that that happens a lot in like Civilization, as an example. If you're thinking about defending this hex, you know, you're gonna need to try and fit your Springalds and your trebuchets behind that, and the pathing is gonna be terrible. So you want to take this position because your Springalds and trebuchets are gonna be able to path in behind that much better, much cleaner, and it's a little bit more open towards that side. Also, doesn't really leave an opportunity for your enemy to really put up a keep in response. Like maybe they go over here on the stealth forest, probably the best bet. But we'll check in. We see the second town center now for Puppy Paw. Going to be going down on the deer. Keep in mind, the deer have been changed on this map. There's been a couple of changes to this map. Obviously, the biome that we're using is different here, but deer, one of the changes. So deer, now for some reason, it seems tied. This deer patch seems tied to the second berry patch, so the bigger one of the two. So you've got a small berry patch, which has got 6. It's not tied to that, it's to the bigger one. So if we go and have a look over on this other side, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there's the deer patch. So I think that's how it's tied. And then there's also another 3 that just randomly spawn. But now we actually see Vortex moving forward. It's a second town center is going to get placed for him. So we are seeing the second town center up at 6 minutes 30. So a bit of a delay on the town center. I think for English, they can get their town center up pretty early. I think it works out to be... I remember seeing Casper do a build order where he would go for a town center opening with the English, and he was getting it up at like 5 minutes and 5 seconds, something like that. Now, obviously, there's also wheelbarrow to consider. There's farms to consider, all that kind of stuff. But still, it's going to delay. And now the third town center coming down for Puppy Paw. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. You know, I talked about in the last game, the possibility of a third town center. We didn't really get to see it, but it seems like greed is good, at least in this position. We see that he's putting up a town center as well as a mill over here. Very good. I remember that one game. It's going to haunt Viper forever. The one game of Age of Empires 4 he played as I want to say the deli, and he put a town center. It must have been the opposite. He put a town center up on top of the on top of the berries, and he forgot to build a mill, and it was just 250. Like that was all the resources that he got. But now Scout gonna get taken out if it's not careful. Oh, he manages to live. Manages to live on just a slitherin of health. Very, very nice. But now we see walls coming up. And remember, that outpost is coming up as well for Vortex right now. Now, he's going to spot this wall coming down just as it goes down. So very good timing. It's almost like the Spider-Man meme, you know, they spot each other. Now, oh, hold on a minute. You're doing, I'm doing. We're both. Oh, no. But you can, one of the things to note, he didn't actually put the villager inside the outpost and look to deny it. Now, going to be looking to try and quick wall. Doesn't want his enemy to come through. Manages to get them all up. Nice little opening there. Vortex also going to be up against a stable here from his opponent. Double stable opening here as well for Puppy Paw. So doing the right thing at this early stage of the game. We can see the deer are going to be... So you might even need to think about dropping an outpost down here just to try and defend this position, because otherwise the longbows will do a lot of work in that position. That can be really, really hurtful. Finally, those arrow slits come through. Managed to take down the villager. So these walls are going to be weak, but it's going to prevent any further transgressions along this south side. And now we're going to watch the scout. I suspect the scout would turn its attention down towards these walls and look to try and siege them down. But now the horseman going to be coming out. And Vortex, he's going to be on the back foot. Arrow slits coming through, and once again, I love the fact that he's gone for a 2-town center build and still doing this, still playing feudal and scaling at the same time. Now, one of the things to note, obviously, his enemy scaling much better than him. We saw earlier that he spotted at the town center. We saw earlier that he spotted at this town center as well. So he knows that there's 3 town centers. Lumber camp getting taken for Puppy Paw on this front side as well. He's going to be really careful though. I'm fearful that if he loses this, he loses wood. He is done for. I mean, there are some forests up towards this north side. Does he have any safe forest on the back side? There's a forest back here. And he's got the lumber camp on there already. Never mind. He's absolutely okay if he loses this position. Though, you would definitely be on a timer. You wouldn't want the English player to hold this position down for, 20 minutes plus. Then it would start to get a little bit hurtful. But now, Villager got to be careful. You can see it's running away. If he kills this Villager, he's going to slow down the push quite a fair bit. You can see it making its way back towards this outpost. Outpost going to be coming up now and managing to survive and keep that Villager alive. Villager going to be able to return back towards its position. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a second Villager come out, but now units getting picked up on the way through. Puppy Paw doing a great job of just taking care of his enemy. And now, it looks like we've got a Spearman against 2 Horsemen. Who is going to win here? It looks like the Horsemen are going to be able to, but they're going to take serious losses. You can see the Spearman trading out 1 for 1 there, despite being up against 2 Horsemen. That's a pretty decent trade. So Spearman doing basically double the damage to a Horseman. And now going to be falling back and looking to dish out some more damage. But we'll have a look at the base of Puppy Paw and see how it's developing. He's sitting on, at the moment, 51 villagers, 52 villagers. Compare that over to his opponent, Vortex, who's on 40. So slowly that difference does begin to climb. Villager is just chilling out. You can see it's on 5 health. He knows it's so important to just keep this villager back. Otherwise, he will lose this villager. So not going to be able to return it to the front. And indeed, now we do see Puppy Paw looking to build up a position to stop this push. And that's a great way to think about it. Honestly, when you get this outpost up, it stops your enemy from pushing in. 1 villager going to be going down, though. Second villager getting focused as well. Looks like he's going to have to fall back at this point. More outposts coming up. We see a house actually coming up for Vortex on this front side. Bit of a weird spot for a house. But indeed, the population capacity has been reached. And now more units continuing coming in. Second villager and third villager going to be making their way in as well. And at this point in time, Vortex, he's looking good. He's on 2 TCs. He's a happy camper. Still yet to take these berries. I suspect it's probably going to be quite a late time that he actually takes them. They're in a bit of an unfortunate spot towards the front of the base, so he might just look to take them just to get rid of them. But now Villager going to have to fall back. You can see that the stone outcropping was slowly being gathered up. He's working towards maybe even a 3rd town center here. Unlikely, but it could be a possibility. Obviously, arrow slit's always going to be the other option. And now on the other side of the map, we've got Vortex that's struggling with his army numbers. Villager's going to be able to fall inside this position. He's going to be able to get in that arrow slits upgrade. But you can see that the Spearmen, unfortunately, getting taken out by those archers. They're going to be jumping inside the outpost, and now the Spearmen, unfortunately, just going to get taken out by the archers again. Really nice little cleanup coming through for Puppy Paw. He's looking very good. He's done a great job throughout this game just with these extra little horsemen that he's got. Constantly just doing little cleanups, always intercepting units on the way out. Very smart moves from him. And now Puppy Paw going to be looking to try and push down upon his enemy. We can see more units coming out for him, but he's going to be throwing them away. Villagers getting pulled as well. He's looking to secure up this position. He's got to be careful not to lose these villagers. These guys have got only 50 health, yet to get their textile upgrade, and indeed they do fall back. Probably the right decision. And Puppy Paw now going to be looking to go into a ram instead. We heard the horseman actually going down. The Gatling gun comes out. Good night, sweet prince. Look at the damage that comes out on that light horseman. Rest in pieces? Oh my lord, 1 health. He lives with 1 health. But now, back in the base of Vortex. Vortex is now going to have to have a hard, long look at himself because it's not pretty. It's not pretty right now. He's on 64 population, 47 and 17, versus his opponent, 47 and 17, who's on 67 and 33. So a big difference between those 2 numbers. That is massive. And he's going to continue pushing out. We can actually see that the outpost got that upgrade, but it's not going to be too long for this world with the battering ram moving in towards it as well. Units will be accompanying it shortly, I suspect, as we see. I don't know what is up with this smoke around here. Oh, you know what happened? I think it was on fire, the outpost, and then the upgrade came through, and then it stopped being on fire. I think that's what happened. Villagers now looking to siege down the battering ram. More little raiding forces moving around the map, just random locations. Look at this raid that's going up there, together with archers. Very interesting. And now villagers going to be able to force that battering ram away. He's going to need to pull vills to repair it. Another raid coming in on that gold mine. All the units are now dead up towards that position. And now in the center of the map, Puppy Paw, once again, going to be looking to take control. And things are looking very good for Puppy Paw here. You know, I feel like he's basically in the same point that he was in the last game, where it's only a matter of time until he wins at this point. He's managed to hold against the English aggression. The English have put down a 2nd town center, but they are yet to really do a dent in the economy, or yet to put a dent in the economy of the Abbasid dynasty. They haven't taken out the town center. You know, this is something that we normally do see English players do, is when a second town center comes up, they would look to push with longbows, rams, and outposts. And it wasn't something that we saw. And as a result, the English economy is going to be sitting unrivaled, as well as the Abbasid economy. And now, speaking of unrivaled Abbasid economy, we've got the second age coming through, or third age coming through. It is going to be the culture wing that comes through for him. So now turning his attention towards these outposts. And it's only a matter of time here before this push really gets to shove. The same way that we saw in the very first game in this series. I think, was it the first game in this series, actually? The Abbasid versus French game? I'm trying to think. It might have been the second game in the series. The first game in the series was French versus Delhi. So yeah, and the French player lost. The Delhi... Okay, it's coming back to me. It's all coming back to me. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of that second and the third game as well. Very, very similar. Actually, no, third and fourth game. Oh, don't worry about me. I'm clueless right now. I'm absolutely clueless. It's just, you know, it's only a matter of time until it's just grinded out. At least that's the way it feels. You know, it definitely felt like Vortex has come into both of these games with a game plan, and the game plan hasn't been to win. And I know that sounds weird, but you got to hear me out. Like, okay, double town center against China meant that by going double town center against China, you lose your timing windows. Now, you probably already lost on that map anyway, just because of how strong China is. But still, you lose your timing windows. You don't take any sacred sites. You can't convert them into relics. You can't convert it into map control. And you basically just stall out. And it felt the same with the Abbasid dynasty game. You know, the Abbasid dynasty was able to keep their head above water, and they just stalled out. But now we see Vortex looking to add in that third town center through the King's Palace. So not going to be going for a defensive keep. Keep in mind, he's still got the berries here that are going to be blocking up his resources. He'll need to be cleaning those up. But now back over on the other side, Puppy Paw also aging up. He's about to come through now. You can see he's got plenty of resources in the bank here. Almost sitting at 155 population. Over on the other side, 93 for Vortex. But yeah, I guess the thing for me though is, like, when I witnessed the way that Vortex has played this up against Puppy Paw, I feel like there was no real way that he could have won. I mean, obviously, if he does damage in here on the wood line, then sure, that's a way that he can win, right? Like, if he kills villagers and commits with that, that's going to rely on heavy mistakes from your enemy to actually win with that. So I guess for me, the question is, like, if you're setting yourself up for a game, you want to have a win condition. You want to have yourself a victory condition that doesn't rely on your enemy making mistakes. And obviously, like, if you're thinking about, like, the Mongols rely on their enemy making mistakes. You know, I'm going to rely on the fact that you're committing or overcommitting too many units to my tower. But that's part of their game plan, right? So, I don't know, maybe it was part of Vortex's plan that he would force out mistakes from Puppy Paw, but it just doesn't seem to be the way. Puppy Paw just played it very immaculately, very well. He's going to continue pushing up now. All the upgrades coming through, preservation of knowledge, veteran archers, veteran horsemen, all that good stuff, and villagers moving forward with it as well, going with the forward keep. And this is what is so difficult to deal with. It's going to be that early keep. Mangonels, I don't know, did they fire down on a deer or something down here? I'm not kidding you. Are those balls disappearing? Where are those balls going? Did you guys see that? They didn't hit the council hall. I think it was attacking ground. I think it was attacking ground into the tree line. He was thinking that there might be villagers down there. Mangonels continuing to move forward. Look, the resurgence of the Mangonels is here. I'm telling you, the Mangonels are actually back. Because now we've seen, like, the meta do a bit of a full circle where, because people didn't make Mangonels, no one was going for any kind of Springwoods. And now because no one's got Springwoods, Mangonels are like, oh, hold on a minute, I can't ignore the Mangonels. Yeah, you're damn right, you can't ignore the Mangonels. Not sure what happened. Okay, it was a gate getting removed or deleted. Now that keep is coming up. Puppy Paw sitting on 189 population. Compare that over to Vortex, who's on 123. And it's not looking pretty at this point in time for Vortex. Vortex is going to be trying his best. You can see he's got walls up. He's moving villagers out. He's looking for alternative sources of bread. I don't know why I said alternative sources of bread. Alternative sources of food, of resources. Indeed, going out for stone now, but he's in a very difficult spot. And now Puppy Paw continues to push forward, continues to crawl forward with more and more keeps. And we can see up towards the north, the horsemen did manage to go back. They cleaned up this raid. So they are going to be able to shut that down. He manages to get through, snuck through a tiny little hole up towards this position. I suspected he thought it was closed, but indeed it was not. And now back towards the base over of Vortex. More keeps continue going down. 3 town centers are finally up here for Vortex. I can't help but feel like if Vortex had gone for, like, 2 town center fast castle into a 3rd town center, it would have been legit. That would have been good. But yeah, I don't know. The early aggression just didn't seem to really hit the mark. But now Vortex continuing to be aggressed upon here. More units coming down. As Siege Workshop going to be dropped down here for Puppy Paw. So highly likely we're going to see some trebuchets coming out for him. And Vortex is definitely stuck between a rock and a hard place as Puppy Paw looks to try and dish out some damage. Battering Ram's going to be moving in here as well. Always a great option, Battering Rams, in the late game, just because they've only one population. So that's something to note, is that when you do build a Battering Ram, they're only one population. So very, very population efficient. Keep going to be going up. Defensive keep now for Vortex. He's going to be looking to hold this position and force trebuchets out from his opponent. Double Siege Workshop coming down for Puppy Paw here. So no shortage of resources to be able to afford those units. So he's going to be absolutely A-okay here. And now pushing in underneath his opponent's keep. A little bit of a dangerous move, I will say. Veteran Spearmen coming out with their spears, looking to try and spear some horsemen for dinner. He's actually going in underneath this. I think he's throwing these away intentionally so he's got more space for the trebuchets. I think that's why. He's got 19 vills in queue as well. Oh my... What? Oh, that's Vortex. I was going to say, Vortex is on 120 pop. I was really worried there. I'm like, oh my god, is there like a counterattack happening where he's killing all the houses? No, he wasn't killing all the houses. I was just in the wrong perspective. So that makes a lot more sense. So yeah, throwing away those horsemen just so he can get a little bit more of a barrier. I guess, well, not a barrier, but a little bit more of a siege presence out on the field. Battering Rams now turning their attention towards the town center. You can see that Vortex is continually getting housed. It is so difficult for him to be able to fight this, to be able to hold this. And we can see those berries did finally get exhausted, and with that, housing is going to get coming out. So gentrification is going to be the name of the game, it seems. And Vortex is going to be looking to try and hold on in this position. You can see the veteran archers, and indeed Vortex taps out. He says there's no point to even try fighting. It is just good game. Well played at this point. Fellas, I hope you've enjoyed this casted game. Bit of a weird one. This has been Golden League. This has been game number 5 between these two. It's a best of 7 series, so make sure you check out the next couple games, and of course, check out EGC TV's Twitch channel. That is where you're going to be able to find all these action-packed games live. 15 GMT, Saturday and Sunday, every month, or every weekend through May.